Wait a minute. We're recording. I have a story. Okay, here go the bonus story. Give us a bonus story about moi, Sibrena, that you may want to tell or share that people do not know about me or about something that you think about me. I don't know. Do tell.
Oh, I'm sure people who know, but people who don't know you might not know because, you're small in stature, but your personality, you a firecracker. So my story is, and I'm sure as I begin to tell it, you will remember after Motown, when Kedar went back to having his own business, Kedar Entertainment. Remember, you were doing a media buy. Was it for Joe? Maybe
It was
for Joe.
Joe, yeah.
Boris, I can't remember. And you were owed some money.
Like 25K?
I don't know how much you were owed, but I knew you were owed some money. And phone calls were not being returned. Not for me.
Right. You were answering the call.
I was answering the call like, girl, I'm trying. And I think that was when you came up to the office with your daughter, with Natasha. I say your daughter, I know who she is, but other people might not know.
Yeah.
Who is just as tiny as you, but just as much of a firecracker as you. I don't know what I don't know. Did you have don't let me start putting that out there. I don't know what was in your purse.
What was in my purse? Listen,
coming up
absolutely nothing. I am from Philly and I am nice with my hands. Like, what? I came up there, first of all. Go ahead.
You're always like standing on business, right? That's what they say now. Standing on business.
I stand on my business, okay?
She was like, oh, I'm gonna get my money.
Yeah, one way or another.
I don't even remember what happened when you were there, but I remember after you left, we had a meeting about something, Kedar and I, and I was like, Kedar, we have a really good relationship with Sibrena, and you should pay her what she's asked for. You should pay. She did the buy for us. It's not like, we laid something out and then she didn't deliver. Right. Now, it may not have transferred into what you were hoping, or translate, may not have translated into the sales or whatever it was he was hoping to get from those buys. I said, but she did what she said she was going to do. And you don't want to ruin that relationship, over whatever. And then, so that was the end of that. Then fast forward, we had another meeting. Now we needed to do another media buy. And he's like, oh, call this one, call that one. Let's call some other people today. And so people were coming, right, and telling us, giving us their rates or whatever. And he was like, oh, I'm not paying that. Kedar, I'm not paying that. Right. That's too much. They crazy. They want too much money. I'm not. I said, well, Kedar, the person who gives us the best rates. And I stopped. He was like, no, I'm not dealing with Sibrena. And I was like, whatever feelings you have about her, you should just put it to the side, because when it comes down to it, it is the business that's the bottom line. And she gets us the best rates and she delivers. And that when she says she's going to put in certain things, she's going to do it. And it took me a while, but I convinced him to pay you your money.
Some.
And then he pay you the whole thing.
Uh-uh.
He pay you the whole
So
thing.
when he paid me what he owed, right? The
Right.
25, but he never paid for the new box.
For the new one. Oh.
So you gave me what you
So
owed
that
me
must
for
have
the
been like when
bill.
I left to go on maternity leave.
Right. Either way, and I've seen him afterwards, I mean, I can't go back to that, but he was very cordial when he saw me. So he never disrespected me. But I came up in that joint. He had a whole Muhammad with him. Oh, this is Muhammad, such and such. Yeah, okay. Well, me and Abner Farrakhan are friends. You need for us to call the Farrakhan since that's who this guy works for. And then Jimmy Henchman is my best friend. Call Jimmy. And Jimmy know that I'm crazy too. Are you gonna call Jimmy and tell Jimmy you owe me money? Jimmy gonna say pay her, because that's how Jimmy is. He gonna be like, pay that girl. Like,
Yeah.
so then like, Kedar, like, I said, I'm from whole Philadelphia. Like, I was ready to beat Kedar up in his office. That was the funniest thing. And the Muhammad brother, his security was a Muhammad. Who was the Muhammad guy that worked there, right?
Yeah. It was his driver / security.
My sister this, sister that. I was like, who you need me to call to keep you still? Because you want me to call like Minister Farrakhan. Oh no, sister, what do I have to do? Because I could do that. But whatever. That was then, I really don't like Kedar's ego, Kedar. I don't like the ego Kedar. But I do like the Kedar.
We definitely got to have a part 2 because we didn't even talk about
Kojo.
No,
not really.
We talked a little bit about like how I transitioned into working with Kojo, but we didn't talk anything about me working with Kedar.
Oh,
I worked with Kedar one-on-one.
Yeah, can you work tomorrow? Okay, can we do a part 2?
Yeah, but not tomorrow.
No. Okay, we'll do a part 2 because this is too good. We can't just like gloss over this stuff.
And we really didn't even talk about, you asked me a question, but I didn't finish. I didn't get into how I met Phife.
Right. So we got to get back. Okay. So Kierstan, tell me again, how did you meet Phife? Because I know we talked about Phife, but you didn't really detail, like, outside of that first meeting, how did you get into a relationship? And then how did that work out for you guys?
Well, I didn't even get into how we met. I mean, so we met at the studio when I did the prank, but
yeah.
What happened was so when I finally told the security guard, like, I was just joking around on the phone, like, whatever. I think he was trying to be like, oh, joke's on you, because now I really want to talk to you. And I was like, in my head, I was like, no, joke's on you, because no, it's not going down like that. But, he was cool. He wasn't disrespectful, anything like that. But he did make a comment. And he said something like, maybe he couldn't pronounce my name, or I don't know what it was, but he was like, oh, I'm going to give you a nickname. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't need a nickname. He was like, oh, I'm going to call you. It was something like Candy or something like that, or Baby Doll or some nonsense. Right. And I was like, no, my name is Kierstan and you can call me Kierstan. And Malik Phife was in the room at the same time. We were in the little like lounge area for the studio, and we were like playing pool. And so my girlfriend they were going to the store, like the deli or whatever. And the security guard was like, oh, come with us. And I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here. Because we were actually, my roommate and I, we were supposed to be meeting some of our friends at the Apollo. So it was supposed to be like, go to the studio real quick and then leave and go to the Apollo and meet our friends. We were going to Def Comedy Jam. So they were like, oh, we're going to the store, like, come with us. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. Like, because I didn't want him getting any ideas, right? So I was like, I'll just wait for you here. I'll wait here in the lounge. When you come back, we can leave. So they left. And then Malik Phife came into the lounge, and he was like, oh, your homegirl, they just left. I was like, oh yeah, they're going to the store, but I didn't feel like going, so I'm just gonna wait for her. And he was like, oh, okay. So then we just started talking or whatever, and he asked me like, are you talking to
Security.
yeah. And I was like, no. And I kind of told him like what had happened. And he's
Mhm.
like, oh, he's like, cause then he told me to call you whatever that nickname was. And when you said, no, my name is Kierstan, he was like, cause he's like, oh, she's feisty. So he had asked me, he said he told me later that he asked him when he gave him the nickname, like call her, whatever. He was like, oh, she dances? And I was like, oh gosh, no. Like, I guess he's used to
Strip dance.
dating strippers or whatever.
Mm.
I was like, no, I'm in school. I go to NYU, whatever. So
He saw that body and was like, what? Is she a stripper? Because honey, that badanga that Kierstan, you was like, talk about Oxbow. You was like, yeah.
So anyway, it was taking a while and they weren't coming back. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be my friends, I don't know where they are. So I said to Phife, I said, I'm going to go because I'm supposed to meet my girlfriends at the Apollo. And he's like, oh, I think we're going there too. And I was like, yeah, well, they're going to be waiting on us. So when Erica gets back, just let her know that I left and I'll meet her there. I think we were gone for like an hour, and I was just like, I don't know, is she planning on going still or not?
No cell phone, please cell phone.
Right. Well, we had cell phones, but they weren't like a lot of people didn't have them, and they weren't what they are now.
Right.
And I wanted to see the show, so I was like, I'm out of here. I don't need to be here. I don't know anybody here. Whatever. Right. So I left. I went and met my girlfriends. I was standing in line. And at that time with Def Comedy Jam, it was really like first come, first serve. So the lines were always super long, super wide. Like you got like 5 people in a row and then all the way line wrapped around the corner. So it's like, they let people in up until they ain't got no more seats. And we were close to the door, but we hadn't gotten there yet. And the line started slowing down. So I was like, oh gosh, I don't know, are we gonna get in? And I saw Malik and Ian, because I think Ian was at no, he wasn't at the studio. He must have picked him up after, but they were walking past the line and Erica had not, my girlfriend, my roommate, she had not come yet. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, Phife. And he turned around. He's like, oh, what's up? And I said, did you see Erica? Because she never showed up. And he's like, oh, nah, I don't know. He was like, you going in? And I was like, well, we trying. And he was like, all right, hold on a second. So him and Ian went to the front and he's like, is it just you? And I was like, no. He's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to see, but might just be you. And I was like, well, okay, let me know. So he went up to the front and then he was like, yeah, come on. And I was like, bye guys. I left my friends.
I'll see y'all in there inside.
I'm like, I'll see you when you get in.
Yeah. Dang.
They didn't get in.
I like this privilege.
They didn't get in. So I sat with Ian and Malik and we had the best time. We had a blast. It was so much fun. And then after that, he was like, oh, we give you a ride back to your dorm if you want. And he's like, oh, but we're going to this party at, I think it was Bowery Ballroom or somewhere. And he was like, if you want to come with us, you can, or we can just drop you home. And I was like, well, can I bring somebody with me? And he was like, sure. So I called up my girlfriend, not the one, my roommate, another.
Yeah. Not Erica. I don't know where you are.
I called up my other girlfriend and I was like, all right, get dressed. We're going out. And she's like, where are we going? I was like, don't worry about all that. Just get dressed. I'll be there in like 15 minutes and I'll pick you up. And she's like, you can pick me up? Like, in what? What? Like, this is college. Like, we don't have cars. Right. So we went and we picked her up. And then she came down and we all went to the party and we had a blast. And they actually ended up leaving before us. They said, we're getting ready to go. You can stay if you want, or we'll drive you home. So we stayed, but we exchanged numbers. And then we just kept in touch. We talked all the time. And it really started off as like friends, like great friends. We had the best conversations. And when he would come to New York, he would come and visit.
Where
And
was he
we
living?
in Atlanta.
Okay.
And it's funny because the RA that used to sit down in the lobby of my dorm, when I would you have to sign everybody in. So he would come and I would come down and sign him in, and then they'd be like whispering, like is that
the rapper?
So he would tease me, the RA. He'd be like, "Oh, you and Phife?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's my friend. Like, that's just my friend. Like, we cool." And then, eventually we got closer, and he was like, "I want you to be my girlfriend, whatever." And that's it. We dated for like 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that.
Wow, that's a long time. So you were 17, 18. He close to the same age.
8. Is he? He's 6 years or 8 years older than me, something like that. I can't remember.
And you were in college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you weren't like 17 in high school. You were at college age.
No, I was a sophomore. I was a sophomore in college.
Dang, girl, you went to college early. You was a whole sophomore at 17?
No, I was probably 17 going on 18. So my birthday's in September. And college.
So you were the kid that got to go to school because you're right before September 7th. Got it. So you really belong behind another year, sort of.
But I'm a smart cookie.
But you the smart. Look, your head ain't big for nothing. Like mine. We got big heads for big reasons because we get big ideas.
Look, when we used to go to the club, my friend Joy and I, and that song, Shake What Your Mama Gave You came on, we used to be like this.
Shaking the head. Shake what your mama gave you.
Shake those brains.
Yes, all the brains. No. So you and he were together for about 2 years as boyfriend and girlfriend? Mm-hmm. And then best friends afterwards, like close, good friends.
Yeah, I mean, there was a period of time that we didn't speak, after we broke up.
Why did you break up?
Because he
cheated.
Mm-hmm.
He's an artist. Mm-hmm. He's young too. Or did you do it?
No.
Because now the sun is peeping through, honey, and the tea leaves are telling. Did Kierstan cheat on Phife from A Tribe Called Quest?
I did not. I'm very loyal. I'm very loyal.
You're
very, very loyal. And so I found some photographs.
Oh, okay.
Of when he was on tour. And
they weren't nakedness.
No.
You weren't into that then. Like
no, they weren't, but they were
hugged up or something.
They told me all the story that I needed.
Oh,
and he didn't deny it.
Well, he didn't lie.
Huh? Yeah. I mean, right? What are you gonna lie? The photos right there. But
how did you see the photos? That's what I want to know. You went through the phone or
no? Because we didn't have camera phones.
Yes, we did. We had two-way pagers. No, we had two ways. They have, I don't remember what they had.
We did not have two ways until I was working at Motown.
Okay. We had beepers. So they had the disposable camera.
So I was in Atlanta. I was at his house in Atlanta. And I guess I was taking a nap. He must have been downstairs or something. And I don't know. I opened the drawer for something and the pictures were there. So he was stupid. Like he just left them.
Right.
But, he's very apologetic, of course.
Right.
And I was just like, you know what? Like enough is enough. So it's not like this wasn't like the first thing that I saw, but I'm like, but this is like right in front of my eyes. And all the time when you're saying you're somewhere or doing something, and then I'm like, I know where you were here because I've been on that bus. That's the tour bus. Like, I know what it looks like. And so that was that. But then eventually He called and we reconciled, and we didn't get back together,
Right. You
but
just apologize.
because I was like, I can't go through that again. Like, that was heartbreaking for me. So I was like,
Oh,
I'm not gonna put myself in that position to be hurt like that again. So, but we became very good friends, and we remained good friends. Um, as a matter of fact, he passed away in it was the beginning of I had my second son in December of 2015. He must have passed away like April, sometime around there, because I remember it was still cold outside but not freezing.
mm-hmm.
And he had actually come to New York to do like some media. um must have been like around January or so, January, February, and he called me. We were supposed to get together, and he wanted to meet my son that I just had. And he called him his nephew. He's like, "Oh, when am I going to get to meet my nephew?" And he was married.
Right.
I knew his wife.
Nice.
And so for anybody that wants to be like, "Oh, there was like hanky
No.
panky or whatever going
Mhm.
on," no, there was never any of that. But we didn't get a chance to meet up. We didn't get a chance to meet up, partly because he had things to do and our schedules didn't align. But I was actually not working at that time because I was home on maternity leave. However, I, being the extra loyal to a fault person, my then boyfriend had not met him. I don't even know if he knew about, like, he probably knew that we spoke because of the music industry, but I don't think he knew the history. And I felt weird. I felt like he needed to be home if I was going to meet up with him, to meet him and just to see like that it was a friendship. I didn't want him to think like there was something going on. So I didn't really make the best effort to get together with him at that time. And then it's like a couple months later, he was gone, and I was, if I regret anything, I regret not making the
Time.
most effort to see him that time, because when he came to town, he was living in he had moved to California because his wife was from California. So they moved. He wasn't in Atlanta anymore. So I really didn't get to see him that often. We spoke on the phone all the time, but I did not get to see him that often. So
That's so sad. And the fact that you had expressed to me that he also was a donor recipient, just like our friend Kojo Bento, who is a double kidney transplant. And so, like, just to tell men, especially, like when you feel or you think something is going on, to just go get that checkup. Not to say Phife didn't, because you expressed to me when I questioned you, asked you some questions about doing this interview, you had told me that, he had other health issues that caused this.
yeah.
But I didn't know that about him. I didn't know that his family member donated a kidney. I didn't know any of this. None of us, I think something like this, we have no protection for people in hip hop. Like, the actors have unions. We don't have any of that. So I can't even imagine what he had to go through in order to even get in dialysis and getting any type of treatment. And then to get a transplant. And they don't give transplants to people. They don't give organs to people so easily. Like, you got to meet every single criteria before
Mhm.
they want to give you that. And wow. So, well, I'm glad you were his friend and he knew you were his friend, Kierstan. And even if you did not get that last moment, like, know that he's always with you. He's always with you. He's met your son. And maybe you just
No, he didn't meet my son. The last time I saw him, as a matter of fact, I was pregnant. When
with
I
the
saw
second.
him, I was pregnant, yeah, with my second son.
Okay.
Um, I
Aw,
was working in Midtown, and him and his wife were in town, and I met them for lunch. And I think
nice.
I must have been like maybe 6 months pregnant or so at the time. Mhm.
Nice. So it's the last baby that you didn't see that out of your two
He
sons.
never, no, he never. I don't think he never met either one of them.
No, but when you had the baby the first time and you were going to go see him, was that the first baby or
No,
the
that was second.
okay? So he didn't oh. Well, Kierstan, now you could share Fife's music and the Tribe Called Quest with your kids, and
Oh
that'll
yeah.
be a way of them getting to know him,
Mhm.
through his music. And I like the fact that you shared that how he was honest, even in his screw up of cheating, but to not, most people will still deny it when the proof is there. Like he still at least did
Yeah,
not.
you're right. He was that kind of person. He had a lot of integrity. He was not a liar. He just wasn't. He,
Right.
even if it was gonna hurt your feelings, he would tell the truth.
I like that.
Which I think is I think it's part of why him and Q-Tip bumped heads. They were brothers, but they bumped heads probably because he spoke his mind. He didn't sugarcoat things, and he let it be known, like, this is how I feel about whatever. And you know but at the
Right.
end of the day, um at the end of the day, thankfully, and I say this to say I don't want to leave that bad sour note
Mm-hmm.
out there on about Kamal, but I think they have reconciled. Like siblings, they always had their back and forth, because I know people out there know about the beef, quote unquote beef, but I don't want to say
Not
not,
really.
not any real beef. It's just like two brothers bumping heads.
Are they
You know,
real brothers?
no, but they
Okay.
were really good
So
friends.
they've been in a group forever. We already know the dynamic with the
Yeah,
groups.
yeah, they knew
They
each other
break
from
up, they get
before
back
the
together.
group was formed. So, they grew up in the same neighborhood,
Right.
going to the same church. So their grandmothers.
Are they from Queens? Where are they from?
Yeah, from Queens, St. Albans.
Okay.
Ali is from Brooklyn. Um, and then Consequence, who came later. Actually, I met Consequence the same night. I met all of them as well. But I know people associate him with the group a lot now as well. He is Q-Tip's cousin.
Mm, that's very
And
interesting.
Jerobi was Fife's best friend.
That's interesting. This
Mhm.
kind of gives me Onyx vibes, like Onyx and the two guys from Queens. One's from Brooklyn,
Oh,
moved to Queens. They grew up together. Family basically, same type of thing. Wow, those are good. That's a good. I don't know. I don't know what the beef was with Q-Tip Fife and them, but I don't think there's ever really any beef. Like people
it was
fall out.
always love. Like, they just had differences, like I was
Right.
saying, with siblings, best friends, you bump heads at some point in time.
Yeah.
Um, my sister and I have bumped heads many times, but there's always love there. And it's kind of like, I can talk about you, but they can't talk about you. Kind of.
Exactly. Nice. Well, it's
So they
good that
always
you
had
have
that
a
kind of
brotherhood.
relationship, very loving. At the end of the day, Kamal was there helping with the arrangements for his going away services. And
Who is Kamal?
Q-Tip, sorry.
Q-Tip was helping with the going away services. That's nice. Wasn't
Yeah.
Q-Tip like in Africa? I thought he
When
was, I don't know.
you
Hey,
mean
listen,
living, or I
I
don't
thought
know,
he was living there and yeah, but
maybe.
yeah,
Mhm.
maybe. But that's nice that everybody got back together to help the family go through that process. Yeah, it's always sad when artists die. I don't know why I'm feeling like emotional almost. I just
I didn't even know. It was so interesting how I found out. I had no idea. And I woke up the morning of, I guess he passed away in the night. And then the next morning I woke up and I was getting all these like text messages and DMs, and somebody had sent me a message saying, "Oh, Kierstan, I'm so sorry, for your loss." And I was like, what are you
Mm.
talking about? Who passed? And I think I had said that to the person. What do you like? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anybody that passed away. And then they were like, "You didn't hear?" And I'm like, "Hear what?" And then it was a friend of mine, and she said, "Phife passed." I was like, "No, he didn't. I just talked to him."
Right.
She was like, "Yeah, he did." And then I started reading all the text messages and then seeing all the, messages on the timeline. So I, I think did I call him or I text him or something, like, like you don't believe it. Like, no, because he's going to hit me right back.
Right.
And he didn't. And then I called one of his friends and I was like, "Is it true? What happened? Like, I don't understand. Like, I just talked to him. He was fine." I mean, he had his issues, but he was fine. And I think it was when I never did get the details of exactly what happened, but I know it had something to do with the kidney failing.
Mhm.
And so I think it was just like sudden.
Mm.
So, when people sometimes they're going through their treatments and they're waiting for a treatment or they're waiting for
Right.
a donor, it wasn't like that. I think it just
Right.
like something went wrong all of a sudden, and
He's
that was that.
gone. Yeah.
But my munchkin is calling me.
Oh, well, thank you for telling me how you felt. How did you feel? Were you devastated, besides the shock? Just tell me that. And I was, I felt when Fife passed.
I was definitely shocked. I was definitely devastated. I was definitely at a loss for words. A lot of people, because they knew the friendship that we had, they knew the relationship that we had. We were very close. When we were in a relationship, we were always together. I mean, always. I was in Atlanta. He was here.
Right.
We would stay with his grandmother. But I guess people were expecting, when somebody passes away and people know them, then they write their soliloquy on their Facebook or Instagram or their dedication of
Mhm.
how they knew that person and what they meant to them. It took me a long time. I mean, I'm not really a post my whole life on social media. I mean, I
Right.
post a lot about beauty and all that, but it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to say. Wait, can you press pause? I gotta take my son.
Okay.
Bus is coming and then I gotta go pick up the other one from school.
All right, you're back on.
Um, yeah, so I took time. I didn't want to just like regurgitate a bunch of stuff just to say I knew him.
Right.
It was very personal for me. Um, it wasn't just like, an artist that I worked with. This was my friend. I knew his family. His family knew me. My family knew him. You know, um, so he very much was a family member. And I took a couple days. I was quiet. And like my sister was texting me and she's like, "Oh my gosh," she was calling me, but I wasn't ready to talk about it.
Mhm.
So I was not responding to anybody or anything like that. And then finally, and I wanted to be respectful of his wife.
Right.
Um, because whereas she and I were not buddies, but I did know her and I knew she was a good person. And I just wanted to uphold that integrity. I keep using the word integrity, but I think like if you don't have that, then what do you have?
Right.
And because people knew that I dated him, I didn't want to look like, oh, he meant the world to me. And,
Right.
because I
Of
saw
course.
posts like that. I
Right.
saw posts like that from someone that I know that dated him before I dated him. Like And the post that that person posted, I felt totally disregarded anything that he had going on family wise now. And I felt like that person didn't have the right to do it. They didn't even, they weren't even it was more of, to me, it was more of like a clout post. Like
A
I
show
want everybody to know that I
was
knew
with
him and had a relationship with him. Sorry, I was looking out the window to see if my son's bus came. um, but this person didn't really have the closeness. And I felt like if they did, they would not have posted what they posted. Right.
Right.
So when I finally put my post up, and I'm sure it's still there because I don't take things down. I wanted to honor him and our friendship in a way that would let people know he was pure of heart, and that there was nothing shady going on, and that he loved his family, he loved his
Loved
wife,
his wife, yeah.
right? And that people should honor and respect her as well, because she would be hurting just as much, if not more, than anybody.
I mean, she sacrificed
She
an
gave him
organ.
a kidney. Yeah.
Yes. So we got to say, I'm getting goosebumps to that, Kierstan. Yo, you are a real good woman to even like, oh God, I'm getting goosebumps. God bless his wife. And thank you for being the portal to express that. Because that I feel like that's something he would want people to know, that his wife is to be respected, revered, and she did whatever she needed to do to keep her man alive, and you being the person to give her that respect and to let everybody know. That's like amazing. That's what true friendship, true brotherhood, really is about. You guys might have started off in a friendship that turned into a relationship that turned into family.
Yep.
And that's a plus. Oh, Kierstan, you're such a good girl. You've always been a good girl. Now I know you from NYU. You are smart to me. Well, thank you so much. You're going to go take care of your boys. Give them a hug from Auntie's side.
I will.
He's telling these kids, you're talking about, this is my friend Sibrena. Sibrena. Miss Sibrena. Sibrena, never. Where I know you from? We ain't friends. Like, this Sibrena, Auntie's side. That's what the kids, the babies, love to call me. But I look forward to meeting them. We are going to have you on again, girl, because I know I'm going to pull some more shit out of you. And thank you so much for your time. I hope everyone follows my friend Kierstan Tucker, the mompreneur that's doing all these fabulous things. Look at her looking for her son. Bye, girl.
I hear the buses coming by.
Okay. Bye, babe. Thank you.
Bye.